What would you suggest? Car first or a house?
A lot of people can buy car. There are different types. But there's just a few people who will be able to build a house in their lifetime. For you to build and to be able to complete the level of wisdom, the skills, the soft skills that you would acquire, you can't be taught that in school. If you are talking about true investment, it's land and property. That's why it's called real estate. The others are just fake.
Yeah.
The others are just temporary stuff. And a car is also a liability if you look at it, right? Land in Ghana is an investment you would make and you would never regret.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the platform that they put you on, the platform that makes sure that your life is much better than the episode before. Right? Today we have a very special guest here. Somebody that I've been fighting with online for a long time. When I'm scrolling, I see his contents, but then I vex. Because what he's talking about, I've not been agreeing with, but after paying some serious attention, I was like, nah, if I don't listen to this person, it will be a big problem in 10 years, 20 years to come. Right? Let me introduce Mr. Frank.
Hi. Pleasure.
Yeah. You are the founder of African Builders or the Builders Africa. Which one is it?
Africa Building Hub.
Africa Building Hub.
Yeah.
And could you tell us a bit about what you do?
Fantastic.
I'm not even letting you relax. We are driving.
Yeah, let's move. So Africa Building Hub is a platform that was created to put together a community of people who are looking to build, buy, rent in Ghana. But we've seen that what we are teaching extends beyond Ghana. So that's why we put it as Africa Building Hub, because when you join our community, there are lots of people in different countries who are, commenting, engaging all the time.
First of all, I appreciate you making time to be here. Jumping right into it. Today I want to start from the back. Usually when we are done with the episode, I ask a guest to give his final advice.
Okay.
But knowing you, I want to start from the back.
Interesting.
And I want to say that, let's start this way. I want you to take a moment. And the Kojo guy you've been talking about, whoever Kojo is, we are going to advise Kojo today, right? We are looking at the current climate of what is happening in Ghana, looking at the renting industry, the building environment, all that. And I want you to I want you to advise the Ghanaian youth.
Okay.
What advice, what 1, 2, or 3 words that are on your heart that if you had the platform that the whole world is watching you, the whole country is watching you, what would you say?
Right. Really interesting. I have a lot of advice for the youth. So thank you so much for the opportunity. Kojo represents typically someone who is between the ages of 25 to 45. These are the people who watch my videos a lot, right? And these are the same people who, if you ask them top 3, what do you want to do when you get a lot of money? They will tell you buy a car, build a house, and probably get married, right? Now to Kojo, I'll tell you, first of all, if you are living in your parents' house and your parents are not giving you any kind of pressure to move out, don't move. Life out there is so difficult. Rent is so expensive. I know people who have rented and have gone back to their parents' house because they rented because they wanted some kind of privacy to be with their boys and their girlfriends and do all the things, right? But the economy in Ghana is not given, right? And so if your parents are not forcing you out, don't be in a hurry. Because if you stay in your parents' house, you'd be able to accumulate a lot of wealth and then build gradually, right? And it also affords you the opportunity to contribute to the home and see how it is like to be a homeowner, right? So contribute, support your parents and all that, and buy some land and start. Now again, Kojo, forget about the girls, right? Girls, they want comfort, right? Between you, the person who is still working 9 to 5, having some small Toyota Corolla or some Honda Civic or whatever, and a sugar daddy who is well accomplished, the young ladies of today will prefer the sugar daddy who is well accomplished. And so don't worry about impressing young people. Have a clear focus on what you want to achieve in life. Pursue it with all your passion. And once you achieve it, you can do all the things you want to do. Last piece of advice. If you're in a relationship and the lady is giving you a lot of pressure to do a very expensive wedding, because nowadays weddings can cost between 300,000 to 500,000 cedis, right? And you don't have a house, it doesn't make any sense at all to invest so much money into a wedding that's just a day or a few minutes and it's over. Invest that into a building project, buy land. Land in Ghana is an investment you would make and you would never regret because it keeps appreciating day by day. I know people who bought lands at 20,000 cedis, and in 3 years the land is selling at 100,000 to 150,000. In 3 years, which investment in Ghana is going to give you that kind of value?
There's none that's reliable.
Yeah.
Right. I love what you have said, and I love the direction we are going in. Right. Now, I want us to attack a few things that you said. That is why I wanted us to start from the back.
Okay.
So today, devil's advocate.
Sure.
Right. So there's been this argument that has been going on online, especially Twitter, where boys are saying that house first or car first. Because, for example, some of these arguments are saying that right now the girls out there, if you don't have AC, you don't have your own four wheels, they're not going to give you the attention, right? And people are also saying that right now, a car in Ghana is not a luxury anymore.
At all.
It's a necessity.
Yeah.
So why are you saying that? Okay, you've not said it, so let me just ask you. What would you suggest? Car first or a house?
It's
Or a
interesting.
land.
I've seen that debate, right? And people will say that, oh, nowadays cars in Ghana are so expensive. And so, for example, I have, let's say, a Hyundai Elantra that I bought for 35,000. Today, I can sell it for 80,000. And so it's appreciated. And so it's not just land which appreciates. It's just unfortunate that the economic situation in Ghana is that bad, where a car which is growing older by the years
It's actually
is
appreciated.
actually appreciated.
It's crazy.
Whereas the rest of the world, with age, the price depreciates. You get me? So if you are talking about true investment, it's land and property. That's why it's called real estate. The others are just fake. The others are just temporary stuff. And a car is also a liability if you look at it, right? Because I had one of my cars going to the mechanic for like a week or two now. Every single day there's a new cost. Anybody who drives will know that
tell you
Charlie,
the truth.
they are suffering. You are looking good out there. You appear at places. You
Tell
are
them
driving
the
a nice
truth.
car. But today, the prices of cars in Ghana don't even make sense. I mean, how can you be selling? We saw a 2012 car that we wanted to buy. It was a pickup because of the nature of the work that we do. Ford Ridgeline. Was it Ford or Honda? Honda, right? Honda Ridgeline. A 2012 car, which is what? 13 years old. And this guy was selling the car for 250,000 or 280,000 Ghana
Me,
cedis.
I'll say this. Forgive me, but it's madness. Right? It's madness. Let me just, because we are talking about my heart issue.
Yeah.
When was it? 2020. We wanted to go get this Civic.
Yeah.
It was around 40,000.
Okay.
And we said, okay, you know what? Let's put this 40,000 here and multiply the money real quick.
Okay.
And by the end of the year, we'll come and buy the car. We came back 60,000. We're like, okay, it's because the dollar has done things.
Yeah.
Let's go and come back a bit. We came back, it was 100,000. Now that same Civic is like 100. You don't get 140,000 cedis. You can't buy a Civic.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense. Now, let me approach it from where you started off with, right? That the girls, they like AC and all that, right? It's just confused guys and young people who will be thinking about, let me work from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock just for girls to be impressed with me. I mean, anybody who thinks that way is purely confused. Like, you don't know what you're about in this world, Because the girls, they'll come and chop their money. And they are not, sorry to say, not all of them, but a lot of the unserious girls. Recently, somebody says she likes fraudsters and scammers. Those kind of people are not serious. And they will chop your money. At the same time, they have like 4 different contacts that they are chopping the money from.
Oh yeah.
You get me? And so it doesn't make a lot of sense. When I see the way the young people of this generation are moving, it really breaks my heart. Right? Because the car, one, the way they don't even maintain it properly, the way they drive is scary. Getting into all manner of accidents and all these things. You get me? And so if you have a house, the tendency for your house to get an accident is very low. The car, apart from it being a liability, it's also like a death trap for many young people, especially when you consider the people drinking and driving. Recently, there was a video around the same area at Laboni, and it was like 2 years ago. They were driving a Range Rover coming from a club. Early in the morning, I don't know if you saw that video. It was trending on Twitter. They all flew out of the
I saw that. I saw that.
Right.
No seatbelt, nothing. No responsibility whatsoever.
You know, so people who are thinking about girls, thinking about cars, and thinking about impression, they've lost their focus. Putting up a building project teaches you a lot of things that nobody can teach you. A lot of people can buy a car. There are different types. But it's just a few people who will be able to build a house in their lifetime. You get me? And even for you to build and to be able to complete, the level of wisdom, the skills, the soft skills that you would acquire, you can't be taught that in school. Let me just give you an example. Learning how to buy land in Accra, dealing with land guards, litigation issues, the legal processes. The level of maturity that it's going to give you cannot be compared to buying a car at a garage or on Gigi or whatever. Right? Being able to save and build incrementally, bit by bit, planning your life and saying that because of this project, I'm going to make certain financial decisions and cut out unnecessary spendings, right? And cut out certain flamboyant lifestyles and unnecessary wastage. It gives you a certain level of financial discipline that a car is not going to give you. A car is always going to take money from you. Every week you are buying fuel, you are doing servicing, you are doing maintenance. A car. But a house, when you are in tough times,
it will house you.
It will house you. And it will save you. Now, let me explain to you. A lot of young people nowadays are like leaving the shores of Ghana. They are saving money so that they can get enough money to book a visa and do all those processes. And go. Today it's costing like $15,000, $20,000 to even some people are paying as much as $30,000 just to leave the country. Now, guess what? If you want a visa, right, and you go to the embassies and you apply, if you have a landed property, they are more likely to give you the visa,
the
visa than the person who has a car. You get me?
That's true.
Because the landed property kind of gives you ties to your home country.
What he's talking about is for the deep-minded, though.
So I can give you 1,001 reasons why it doesn't make sense to invest in a car. Rather start a building project. Even if you don't have the money to start, buy land, start a farm on it, make some additional sources of income, right? The car argument, yes, if your work certainly demands it, if you are using it for other commercial ventures, it does make sense, right? But if where you live is so far away that you need to have a car, then why don't you rent closer to town and then avoid the cost of transportation?
Beautiful. Let's take one more step back. We are saying, okay, we've heard you, we've decided to go with your logic.
Yeah.
Right now, even when I see real estate properties say affordable luxury, I don't even want to look at the price.
Yeah.
Because I understand that affordability is in ranges,
yeah.
right? But the question I want to ask is, now we decided to build, we want to look for land.
Yeah.
Land issues in Ghana, like you said, it will mature you.
Yeah.
Right. I have a friend, and I'm not even going to disclose too much, that bought some good acres, even outskirts of Accra, thinking that we are saving some money, so let's put money together, let's buy good acres. We bought the whole property, all that, and there's been litigations till today. Right. So if let's put it this way, you have a younger brother, me. I've come to you, like Bra Frank, right?
Yeah.
I have X amount of money. I'm going to buy the land.
Yeah.
What are the checklists that I need to put in place to make sure that I'm going to buy the land? And now, and recently, I'm even hearing that you can buy a land and it's not yours after 10 years. You have to renew it. All those things. Let's dive into that part a bit.
Right. So it's a very solid question that you've asked, and let me use this opportunity to explain something I call the 4 L's when it comes to purchasing land or building in Ghana, right? So the 4 L's are basically land, land itself, right? What is land? The second one is the location. The third one is the legalities around land. And then the fourth one is the language of land, right? So let's look at what land is. In Ghana, land includes any part of the given earth, right? And the buildings on it, right? If you want to buy land, first of all, consider that you've come to me. What's your budget, right? If you have 100,000 Ghana cedis to buy a plot of land, then we are moving into the next part, the location. The location determines the cost of the land, right? And so if you have a low budget, I would advise you not to go in for a prime location because you can't afford land. Anybody who gives you a low cost land in a prime location with a lot of interest means you are going to end up in the third L, legalities, right? Where there's going to be litigation and all that, right? So there are certain due diligence processes that you need to go through to at least clear the first 3 I've spoken about, right? First of all, who is selling the land to you? So you came to me and you said you've seen a land somewhere. In Ghana, there are a few people who are selling land. So we have the stool lands, that's like the chiefs and all that. We have family lands, and then we have like developers, real estates, and all those people who are selling their lands, right? Who is selling it to you? Now, the level of risk moves from, it gets higher when you move from developers to family to chiefs.
When you say it gets higher, so are you saying that who is the riskiest and who is the safest?
The safest will probably be a real estate person who has bought it, who has fenced it, and gone through the hassle that you would have gone through.
And the chiefs are the riskiest.
The riskiest.
Wow.
Because when they're hard pressed for land, they just saw the thing. Then the next one is the family. They will probably have bought it from a chief, and then they would have done some work around it. However, it's also very dangerous because there are situations where if the father purchased the land and let's say he passed without leaving a will, it becomes a whole issue. And I've seen that before. I've experienced it myself. And I have friends who have also experienced it where you bought lands from a family. One member of the family will come to you and say, my brother sold it to you, but he wasn't the rightful person to represent the family. So we are not taking it from you, but you need to give us something. And when you give them something, it establishes a precedence where everybody now comes and says, me too, I didn't get something. Can you give me? And you tend to waste a lot of money. So the real estate developers say first. But even then, there's still due diligence. Who is selling the land to you? Even if it's a real estate developer, who is selling the land to you from the real estate company? There have been situations where there's a real estate company that has employed the services of somebody who is like a marketer. The person had bad behavior, was acting badly, and was laid off. But in the eyes of the public, this person is the person who represents the real estate company. And so he's still going around selling the land to you. And so the who is really important. Who? Do they have the legal right to sell the land to you?
Yeah.
You get me? Very, very important. And if it's an individual also, make sure that you begin to identify who it is. If you are like not well versed in the space, you need to identify them. What identification document do they have? Then also go to the land and see it for yourself, right? Because sometimes you see
we don't buy land by proxy.
No, we don't buy land by seeing a billboard by the roadside, 20,000 cedis plots at Pram Pram. Then you send money. No, go to Pram Pram and see if the land is there, right? People pay money because Charlie, you call the number. How many plots? They say, one, and somebody has even called that he wants to come and pay. So if you don't pay right now, it will go. I said, no, let me send you 10K for initial deposit to show that I'm serious. Charlie, what's happening? You just lose your land easily. Go there and see if the land exists. When you go there, right, get your surveyor to go and plot the coordinates, and then you get a site plan, take it to Lands Commission, go and see if the land is in the name of the person who is selling the land to you. If not, run away. So those are some of the due diligence process. Obviously, getting a lawyer involved helps with the legal processes. You sign a contract and all that. It reduces the likelihood that you are going to have issues, or even if you do have issues, you are going to be able to recoup your money. Then when you've done all these legal stuff, there's the language. The language means, Charlie, this area, no, you go into the area when the person who led you there is not there and find out from the people who live there. This land, I'm interested in it. So, oh no, Charlie, this place, there's some issues around the land guards and stuff. It helps you to avoid the issues. And then there's the common sense principles, which is still part of the language. Common sense tells you that don't pay 100% of the cost of the land without first doing something on the land. So if the land is costing 100,000 Ghana cedis, enter into an agreement with the seller that, Charlie, I'll give you maybe 10K, 20K, 30K, something you are comfortable to lose. And I want to start something on it. Once you start, if there's a lot of vested interest in the land, the people will show up. And then you would have saved yourself 70,000 cedis than paying all the 100,000 cedis. I hope it makes sense.
It makes more than sense there. The wisdom that you are giving today is amazing, right? So we're looking at the land location, the language, and the legalities, right? Now that we've looked at all the things that we need to know, or the checklist, now we have a good checklist, where do we find land? Like right now, I've been saving for some time. I feel like minya 100,000
cedis or dollars.
Well, so let's even just start from some low figures. We'll visit all that. I have 20,000 cedis. I want to get land. Where do I find that land? I have 100,000 cedis. Where do I find land? I have $100,000. Where do I find land?
Really, really good question. And so for the various tiers of budget, right? If you have a 20,000 cedis, you're probably looking at the outskirts of Accra, right? You are looking at moving towards the eastern part of Accra or western. So if you're looking at the western, you've gone past Kaswa, you're going to Winneba side. Right, and probably you're going to get like a half plot of land. And there's no shame in buying a half plot of land. Everybody wants to buy a full plot of land. But there's a lot you can do with a half plot of land. You are looking after Pram, you are going to Segi, you are going to Adan areas. You can get land in those areas.
So you are telling me that the Charlie, that drink, what's it called? The one that they've been buying. Oh, there's some drink they've been buying at the club. It's like they say how much? Azu, how much is that? Hey, 100 pieces a year. You are not going to hear him, but he's telling us that the Azu that I'm assuming is around $1,000 a bottle. They make only 100 pieces a year. I'll do my search. They do 100 pieces a year. So what people have been buying 6, 7 in the club now.
Straight.
They are buying it from Banku.
Yeah.
But maybe my point is that so those 2 bottles of Azu that somebody's buying can actually get somebody land somewhere. Straight. There's not just 2 bottles of Azu. There are so many other things that you are doing that could buy you land. Let's go into that a bit before we come back to our TS.
Yeah. Some people drink malt or Coke with their lunch every day. Every single day. Right. And today, malt is like 20 cedis to 30 cedis. Right. Just a day. So in a month, that's 600. In a year, that's 7,000 plus. In 10 years, that's 70,000. If you were compounded with interest, that's almost 300,000 cedis. Coke alone can buy land. If you had saved when you completed the SHS and you moved into university and every day you were buying Coke and you had saved that money and you were investing it, you would have bought a land, 300,000 by now.
Lahu.
Now, some people also buy a lot of data. They spend a lot of time on TikTok and stuff, just scrolling, laughing, and all that, right? Some people have Netflix subscriptions, $10 a month. Apple Music subscriptions, $10 a month, right? So this is translating to like 300 CDs, 400 CDs. It doesn't look like a lot, but it adds up.
See, we are not saying that don't, enjoy yourself and all that, right? But the points that we are driving at, and is very important, because generally in anybody that wants to be successful, there are some 10 years that you put aside and grind.
Yeah.
That is what we are talking about. There are some 10 years of your life that you say, this 10 years, Charlie, no coke. We are not saying forever and ever, don't buy coke till you die. But some 10 years, from 20 to 30.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
That's
from
exactly what I'm talking
from
about.
20 years to 30 years, we can put some money aside and just grind. And at age 30, you could buy land and do foundation.
Put a nice 1-bedroom house on it with a swimming pool. And it's not just the cook, right? Some people take girls out every weekend to getaway places and stuff like that, movie houses and all kinds of nonsense, right?
You know, I had the prices for the getaway places.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to go and do some, but I had the prices. I was like, you know what? Anyways.
Oh, but kind of correct.
No, because like people are blowing. I think if they are four or so, some of the prices, some of the places are around, let's say $500 a night, $450 a night. Even if the dollar is 10 cedis, you get it, which is not, right? Let me even, my phone is there, why am I even stressing myself? Let's quickly do some math. Me, I like numbers, so I always bring out my calculator. Let's say if it's my USD calculator is even open, $450 a month, a night.
Yeah.
Currently, that's about 5,500 cedis.
Yeah, and then you do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Times 3.
Yeah.
16K.
Yeah,
that's
you and then 3 other boys, so everybody pays 4K every month.
Minus food, drinks,
transportation, yeah. And then the transportation for the girls.
See, we are rich, oh.
No, you are very rich. The youth of today are very rich, but they don't know. One thing I keep telling a lot of people is, you may think you don't have money, right? But can you download your Momo statements for the past 3 years and see the amount of money that has passed through? Or check your bank statements for the past 5 years and see, you would not believe that, hey, 600,000 CDs has passed through my account. But you've been blowing it. You've been living big, you know, big perfumes. So some people, if you go into their perfume area, they have like 20K sitting over there.
Down there, yeah, hitting my numbers too much. I beg you. Maki is fine. But honestly, I love the conversation. I love how we are going. This episode, and I was telling my friend the other day that this episode, even if one person watches it, me, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
And this episode is for me.
Okay.
Right? Because if I called you and said, let's have one-on-one consultation, one price, I would have bought me.
Straight. Yeah.
So this episode is for me. And anybody that wants to take his or her life seriously, because buying land is not for males only. Women are buying land.
Yeah.
Right? And I just want to re-echo this so that nobody really gets us out of context. That we are rich. Right? We are really, really, really rich. I saw a tweet on Twitter, or now X, they were saying that a billionaire, the picture of some billionaire, I think on the football park, I don't know who he is. He was having an iPhone 7 Plus with an earpiece, the one he was holding it, I think he was talking to somebody.
Yeah. Right?
And they were saying that this billionaire owning so and so, uses iPhone 7 Plus, and an unemployed girl level 200 is using 16 Pro Max.
Straight.
Right? And again, we are not saying don't enjoy these things, but there's a season to lock in. Right? If you do not sacrifice for what you want, then I guess you really don't want it.
Yeah.
Right? So I love that. But let's go back to that so that we don't lose track. I think I was asking you about where we can find some of these lands, right? 20,000 CDs and all that, before we diverted into saying that even that drink, Azu, and all those things could buy the land. So 20,000 CDs, you can get a land litigation free, outskirts of.
You've moved outside Accra. You are going to Winneba, you are going to Sege, you are going to Adan, you are going to Koforidua, Manfe areas.
Yeah. And let me ask you this before we even go to the higher tiers. There's still advantage in buying lands in those areas, because maybe by the time I want to settle down, that wouldn't be quote unquote undeveloped area again.
Yeah.
Right. I heard the president say something recently about they developing a new Accra. I don't know, a new capital city. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is good information to come across. Okay. 40,000 cities. Do we still have to go that far?
Yeah, 40,000. Again, I don't want people to look at a plot. You can look at a half or even a quarter plot. Right. So it means that a full plot will probably be 80,000. If you bought a quarter, a full plot would be like 120,000.
That's where
You can get land at Amasaman, right? Moving towards Nsawam. Again, I don't want us to limit the conversation to Accra. Unless everybody watching is in Accra.
No,
Right.
let's do. Feel free. You can talk.
Land is cheaper in other regional capitals than Accra. Right. And so for someone who works in the tech environment and probably has a remote job, I would advise you to leave Accra. You need your Starlink, you need your solar or wherever. And go and live in Kumasi, go and live in Sunyani. Close to the airport at Kumasi, you get land for 120,000.
Are you serious?
150,000. I'm serious. Places like Ejisu, if you go down further, you're going to Konongo and stuff. They're like 30 minutes, 40 minutes away from the airport. Accra, 30 minutes from the airport is 1 million plus. You get me? So if you go to Sunyane,
let me. I keep cutting. I'm sorry, because this is a conversation that is very personal to me, and I think if you've realized that, because I have this conversation with my boys all the time, right? We me, I push the people around me.
Yeah.
We need to do great. We need to do
Definitely.
So I push my boys, and we have these conversations and arguments a lot. And recently, there was a property that was sold, one plot of land.
Okay.
Around, not even very far from, not even very close to the airport.
Yeah.
And this is quite sensitive. The person that did the purchase and all that is quite sensitive. So I don't even want to go into it.
Sure.
But the one plot was sold for $1 million.
Yeah. Easily. So last week on our YouTube live session, right, we showed the cost of land in the prime area. So the same question that you're asking us, we showed from the low budget areas, middle income, and then the prime areas. And prime areas like where we are, Laboni, Cantonment, an acre is going for like $8 million, $10 million and stuff. Right? And it's
Wait. Come on. Sorry. What?
Yeah, $8 million, $10 million.
Land.
Yeah.
An acre.
Yeah, so
that's
an
how many
acre is
plots?
like 4 plots.
Four
So
plots.
a plot is like 2 million, 2.5 million and stuff.
Is that right?
It's not right, especially if you look at Ghana, right? Ghana doesn't have a lot of infrastructure. We don't have even quality roads. When you travel to other countries, you see that we are far behind in terms of infrastructure, technology, and so many other things. The price of land that we are selling in Accra can buy you land and a house probably at Los Angeles somewhere or some places in America.
Because if you are telling me $8 million for the land alone in Ghana, and it will shock you, these lands are being sold out like crazy. I don't even want to get to the money laundering aspect. I don't even want to get there. But anyway, let's go on.
Yeah, so, but it makes sense also because land, and again, all goods are driven by demand, right? And so basic economics, the more people value something and demand it, and the lesser the supply, the more the sellers can put a premium on the price. And so everybody wants to be in Accra. Accra is the most populated place in Ghana, the most populated region, right? Greater Accra region. And so if you look at the population density and the number of people who are here and the available land, it's also one of the smallest regions. And so you have millions of people who all want the same land. So that's why there's a lot of litigation in Accra. And that's why Accra lands are so expensive.
Makes sense now.
You get me? And that's why I want to encourage as many people as possible. If your work doesn't require you to be in Accra, move out. Go to Sunyani, go to Kufuridia, go to Tamale. Kufuridia is just 2 hours away. And land is 5,000 Ghana cedis. Right? Adesso is 1 hour, 30 minutes away when you're standing from the Achimota Mall. And land is 10,000 cedis. Go and buy 10 plots. The roads over there are really good. In fact, the roads in certain regions in Ghana are way better than Accra. Recently, I think the same week, Ho and the Volta region was trending, right? Because of a post that someone put up. And it was trending because the roads over there are really good. And the land is very affordable. And there are trees. Accra doesn't have trees.
The
air quality is good. And the cost of living is lower. And when you plant cassava, it will grow. You get me? So please, let's not all romanticize Accra and be here suffering. You are living in Accra, but you are suffering. But you could be living elsewhere and be doing a farm and be bringing your inputs here and selling them. I want the youth of Ghana to reorient the way we think.
I was having a conversation with a friend. We have a lot of conversations. So we're just doing some math, right? And we're seeing that. Imagine, and to me, I believe this is the fundamental problem.
Yeah.
Imagine you live in Kumasi, you work at Accra Mall. You wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning. You pick a train. Even if it's not one of the trains in China and it's a slow train. An average of an hour 40 minutes, an hour 30 minutes. You should be in Accra.
Yeah.
So by waking up, leaving home by, let's say even if the train leaves the station at 7, you are looking at 8:30, you should be awake.
Yeah.
Right? And that is what is, drizzling down to the issue of everybody needing to relocate to Accra. Because if there were proper and more efficient transportation systems, not even by the roads, by train, etc., even the flights, because to me now, I don't even understand why flights from Sunyani to Accra should be 5,000 cedis. To me, I don't understand what goes into it, but it doesn't make sense to me. Because when we were flying to Kumasi, initially we were paying 300 cedis one way. Then it came to 600 cedis. Then it came to 800 cedis. Then it's going to where it's going, which is fine. I don't want to talk down anybody's business. But I believe if there are proper connecting railway systems in the country, this decongested Accra thing will be a thing of the past.
Right. So you are right to a certain extent. In fact, we're having this very same conversation within our WhatsApp community for Africa Building Hub. And it's a bit complex, right? I agree with you to a certain extent in that if there were railway lines, not just Kumasi, I could live at Kaswa and get to work at Accra. Right? I could live in Tema and come here. I could live at Pram Pram and come here. And so the distribution of people was not going to be the way it is currently. Right? And so you're right to a certain extent. However, why is everybody coming to Accra? That is the question. Everybody is coming to Accra because this is where everything is. This is where the international airport is. This is where the car ports and stuff are, right? This is where all the big restaurants and big hotels are. This is where lots of bank headquarters and central business districts are. You get me? For us to be able to move the conversation out of Accra and say, let people stay in other regions and work there, then we need to make sure that the ecosystem over there, that is markets, banks, jobs, industries, are fairly distributed everywhere. You get me? So today, everybody is coming to Accra. And even the Accra, you notice that in the morning, traffic is moving one way. And in the evening, traffic is coming the other way. So somebody leaves Adenta, right? Somebody leaves Ashoman Estate. And then somebody is leaving Kaswa, and we are all coming to meet at Osu, Sek, or Rage and stuff like that to work. Now, can you imagine that a seller, a trader, who sells at Kantamanto, leaves Adenta in the morning, then a buyer who also lives at Adenta leaves in the morning to go and meet at Kantamanto to buy things. All of them stay in traffic, and in the evening, all of them stay in traffic coming back. Why don't we create that Kantamanto market at Adenta so that we don't need to be coming to Kantamanto in the mornings? Every location needs to have a market, right? Markets are like the center places of every region or city or township, because once the market comes in, a bank will come in to sweep the funds, collect deposits, Mobile money vendors will come around because people need to do cash in, cash out. You get me? Once banks and other businesses are coming in the area, hospitals will come up, schools will come up, playgrounds will come up. And then as the community is developing, beauty, spa will come up, gaming centers will come up and stuff like that. And that's how to build a place. In Ghana, we do the reverse of what the Westerners do. Canada has a very large landmass, which is unoccupied. The reason why it's unoccupied is because they first of all need to make sure that one, there are roads. Two, there's electricity, there's water, there's gas, there are marketplaces, there are everything that when the residents move in, they would have a comfortable life. Ghana is the reverse. You buy land in the bush, you create your own roads, you take your own borehole there, you go and drill, you take your meters and poles and everything, you do everything on your own. And pray that the government will come and support you with a police station, a hospital, a market. And that's why we have it wrong. We first of all need to establish the business centers and then life will grow around it. That's what God did in the beginning, right? He created the market where people can get food and things to eat before he brought the people to come and live in it. There were jobs over there. There were businesses over there. And there was a market where they can get food to eat.
Let me ask this question. Still about finding land. Right now, people go on Gigi and turn and they're finding land. I'm not even going to ask you because I've made up my mind. It's not advisable for me.
Okay.
Right. Are there any dedicated because we're in a digital age? Are there any dedicated
definitely.
platforms for finding land in Ghana?
Yeah, I mean, technology is making everything very easy. Very, very easy, right? When it comes to the platforms.
Do you personally have a platform, Africa Builders Hub?
So our platform is a platform where people can find genuine lands.
Where is that platform?
On TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, etc. You see the way the world is changing. Now a lot of people actually search for places to eat on TikTok.
Yeah.
People search for getaways on TikTok. You get me? So we need to move away from everybody needs a website and stuff like that. Everybody is on social media. And social media has become such a powerful place that it's been integrated into our everyday lives. You get me? And so what we have created is a safe space where before we even accept, we get like hundreds of people who send us, they have land for sale, etc. We don't post because we need to make sure that they have the correct original documents. They don't even have documentation. So we try to do like that filtering to ensure that anybody that we are posting on our platform, we've at least done a certain degree of due diligence checks to reduce that anxiety or that fear that you have that you could possibly lose your money on the GGs and stuff where the people are not verified. You get me? There's Mikasa, very popular platform. There's Zip Code, one of our partners, very popular platform where there are websites where essentially they've curated listings of lands, properties, and all that. You can search it, but you can also come to us, and then we would help you.
Right. One more question on due diligence. Let's say my dad has a land. My dad had like a number of lands scattered all over, or even the house that we are staying in, the land right under it. We are talking about him willing it to me at the end of the day, or all those things. And I'm watching this video now. What advice can I give my dad that at the end of the day he should have all his affairs in order? Not even talking about death, because I'm even hearing things about you can have a land in Accra, it doesn't really belong to you. And after 80 years, you have to go and re-verify. So how do I even know that the land that my dad, we've built our house on, I cut 3 years for me to go and, stuff. That's the question I want.
So essentially when you are getting a contract, right, to purchase a land, there are documentations. The documents, the basic one is an indenture. It specifies who is selling the land to you, the location of the land, the size of the land, the cost of the land, etc. And it also specifies the kind of rights that you have as a buyer. right? So there's something called leasehold and there's something called freehold. Leasehold means that we are leasing the land to you. Previously, there were some freehold lands in Ghana, right? Where it means that you can hold it in perpetuity, you can hold it forever. Now, by government decree, all land is leasehold. It means that every land you buy will not be for you permanently. Maybe think about it. Every single land you buy has a period defined in the indenture. So it could be 50 years, it could be 99 years, it could be 90 years.
Upon expiry, who does it go back to?
Now, within the indenture or the agreement, there's a clause which will tell you that upon expiry, you probably pay a token, right? And that token should be a percentage of the cost of the land.
So you don't need to rebuy it.
No, you don't need to rebuy it, right? And so that's why, again, we spoke about legal in the 4 L's. You need to understand the legal processes. And it will be good for you to get a lawyer as well. So I'll tell you to tell your dad to get a lawyer to make sure that all the documents have been signed.
Okay.
People get indentures and it's not signed by the person selling it to them. In the future, they can tell you that they are not the person who sold it to you. Even if you get it, let them sign. You two sign. Have copies.
What if there is land? Your dad is old, your mom is old now. They bought land maybe when they were coming up 40 years ago, 30 years ago. They don't even know they don't even know where any of those documents are. What can be done about that? Where do they go to have copies replaced, stuff like that?
So they should go to Lands Commission. Today, the source of truth, the single source of truth is Lands Commission. They are the ones who have records of the history of lands, right? Because the land could have been bought by my dad, passed on to me, I sold it to you. So they have the whole history. When you go, you'd be able to register the land in your name. That is key. So even if you get the indenture is just saying that I'm selling this land to you, right? You have not transferred it into your name. You don't own the title. So tomorrow I could potentially sell it to somebody. When you go to Lands Commission, you go and update the records. And then when somebody goes, they'll see that the land is in your father's name or in your name. It's like a car. Let me just give this analogy, right? When you buy a car today, the first thing you do is to go to a DVLA. And then you go and effect a transfer of ownership. When you buy land, do the same.
Another question regarding compliance and due diligence. Government lands. I heard something in the news, I think last year, where government lands were sold to citizens.
Yeah.
And now there's a new government saying that these are government lands.
Yeah.
And I know if somebody trying to buy land, go to Lands Commission, you would have found all these things. I'm asking this because I'm being educated now that there are some lands that after a given period of time, these are leasehold lands.
Yeah.
So after a given period of time, it has to return back to the rightful owner. So I'm asking this question that we have government lands. There are some lands that do not, no matter what, you as a human being cannot own it.
Yeah.
Do you know where some of these examples are?
So I think there was a popular article or news item that trended a few years back where one of the political figures in one of the political parties bought a certain portion of a certain forest land and willed it to his family members and cousins and stuff like that, right? That's a typical example. Forest lands don't belong to you.
I see.
Yeah, so there are government lands. And again, one advice I would give to people who want to purchase land is do some research, right? Apart from going to Lands Commission, there are news items that government plans to build an airport in Ho. Government has a plan to build airport at Chopoli. Government has plans to dualize the road from Accra to Kumasi, right? When you see these news items, don't take it for granted. People bought land on the Pukwase Amasaman in Sarom Road. And it was earmarked for road construction, right? They didn't do their due diligence and all that. Now the road expansion time came. Their houses, offices, hotels were all broken. You get me? So go to Lands Commission, check news articles for the land. And it's just as easy as going to Google and saying, what are the government plans for the name of the location? And you will see a news article probably come up.
Now, still on Lands Commission, does Lands Commission have any proper documentation regarding flooding? That these are X zones that when you are buying lands here, you need to look out for,
Right.
be careful for? Or do we have any proper mapping to say that? Because obviously there's a mapping that says that these are government lands. These are government lands.
Yeah.
So when you are doing, you do not go there. These are reserves.
Yeah.
Now, do we have any allocation or anywhere that I can say that, okay, if I buy here or if I stay here, these are red zones for possible flooding?
Definitely. So there are wetlands and there are Ramsar sites, right? And recently we heard in the news that the president walked to some development company or developer who was building on a Ramsar site. And the guy was talking big and talking back to the president, and later they went to break all the properties that he was building over there.
Which president?
Well, this is our current president. This year, a few weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Right. So you need to be aware of what a wetland is. You need to be aware of what a Ramsar site is. All these are usually reserved for ecological purposes. Right. And so you're not supposed to buy land there or build there. Again, before you even build, you need to go and get a permit. In the process of getting a permit, you need to go to your municipal assembly. And that assembly is in the locality of the place where you want to build. So once you do so, they will tell you that, bro, Charlie, this land, you can't come and build here. Then you stop. You don't build a 5-bedroom mansion for $2 million and after that, it gets broken. So if you go through the due diligence process,
the government can't pay you, shouldn't pay you back.
Oh, forget. When you were informed that this thing is earmarked for something.
Was it 3 years ago? There's one of my mentors was building in his house at East Legon Hills. And, you know, once in a while, just pass by, look at progress, make sure everybody's working. And that day when we got there, we saw that the AMA came. I don't know if it's AMA, but that's what the people on site said. And they came to use their red mark, stop working. And I think they even seized some of the equipment from the people. So they had to call him to come. And then you know how things in Ghana go. Went to the assembly, as you were saying, go saw sorts. Then you also had to show the documentation and all that. That is quite unfortunate. Let me flip the question well. Is it that every single property in Ghana, immediately you start building, you need the permit for that building, or you just need the permit for those areas that are quote unquote almost red zones or for eco?
Yeah.
You get my question?
Yeah, I get your question. So the permit is not about the area at all. The permit is about, one, what property are you putting up? Does it fit into the context of the area? Right. And so some places are waterlogged. Some places you can't build more than 4 stories or 5 stories. Because let's say planes and aircraft pass over it. Some places have been zoned for commercial purposes. So there are purposes for each location. And when you get to the municipal assembly, they will tell you that this place has been zoned for a market. So though someone is selling the land to you, you cannot build a residential property on it. You can only do a market. You get me? So you need to go there. Every single house, even if you want to build a wall, even if you want to build a security post on your land, you need to get a permit. Any activity you want to do, because one, they need to check whether it's safe for the other residents in the area.
Right.
You get me? And there are so many things that they are checking. They are checking soil, sample tests, so many things that they do. So you need to ensure that what you are building can fit for your house. It will not break, and it will also not cause danger to the people living around you.
That's very insightful. Why do you think Ghanaians are unable to finish their properties?
Oh, Charlie, plenty reasons. Plenty reasons. The Bible says that before anybody should start a building project, you first need to sit down and count the cost.
Count the cost.
Yeah. and see if you would be able to finish. Lest you start, do the foundation, you can't complete. And people passing by will say, Charlie, this guy started and he could never finish.
Yeah.
People don't sit down to plan. They just know that they want a nice 5-bedroom house with a lot of glass and stones and a big 85-inch TV in the hall with hidden lights and POP, right? They've seen things on Pinterest, TikTok, movies. They've gone to their friends' places. They've seen Airbnbs and they want the same thing. But they don't count the cost. Charlie, today a bag of cement is 124 cedis to 130 cedis. For you to know the cost of the building project, you need to also know what does the building look like. People in Ghana don't like going for experts when it comes to building. Architects, no. They will draw the thing on paper and say, Charlie, here, one room here, one room here, one room here. Or they will see something on Pinterest and say, this is it. A lot of people come to us and say, this is my design. How much will it cost me? Or how much will it cost me to build a 3 or 4 bedroom house? In fact, I get that question thousands of times every day via email, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere. The most frequently asked question in my DMs: how much will it cost me to build a 3-bedroom house?
But how much will it cost them to build a 3-bedroom?
There's no answer to that question because your idea of a 3-bedroom house is different from my idea of a 3-bedroom house. You are looking at a full glass house with a swimming pool at the top. Me, I'm looking at a box, Charlie, 1-room box, 2-room box, 3-room box, finished. You get me? So everybody's design or concept of their dream house is different. And so first of all, put the thing down on paper. Let an architect draw it for you. Then based on that, we are going to get someone called a quantity surveyor to look at it, determine the depth of the foundation and all that, and give you what is called a bill of quantities. It is going to tell you that your foundation, depending on the number of stories you want, is going to cost you maybe 200,000 cedis. Your ground floor is going to cost you 500,000. Your first floor is going to cost you this. That's why people start and don't finish. They think that, oh, Charlie, I've been able to save some 200,000 cedis, Charlie. I can use it to build 3 or 4 bedroom houses. And then they realize that, hey, Charlie, the building is not a joke, and all your money goes into it. And the unfortunate thing is, when you are building and your money goes inside, it never comes back. See, let me give you an example. Ghana here. This is not even me and you individuals that we don't have money. We have small money. A whole government, a whole former president said he was building something. For God, though, he started and Charlie Foundation crashed 0. See, if a whole politician cannot build and finish, then individuals who are doing 9 to 5.
It's crazy. I'm asking this question because there's so many uncompleted properties. Somebody texted me just a few days ago, showing me a property in Cape Coast about a hostel that somebody wanted to sell. I was asking if would there be any interest to me or somebody else, and I was like, "Oh, no problem. Let me see the price. Price not called bomb before they uncompleted." Hey, so. Let me even give you. I don't want to talk out of.
So why else you look for it? Another reason why a lot of people are not able to complete is due to litigation, right? You will start and somebody will come and say, no, Charlie, this land, it belongs to me. So you didn't do your due diligence and you can't continue. So a lot of uncompleted properties you also see when you go into the court, the house is over there in the court records. There's litigation going on there. You get me? 16-bedroom house. Yeah, true. And a lot of people also have unrealistic expectations, especially the buggers. Right? Life is good for them. They go and get some cleaning job, go and get some job somewhere in the US, Canada, Belgium, and stuff like that. Then they have some big fancy dreams, especially the people living in the UK. You know, when you go to UK, the rooms are so small. Charlie, this room is big. Small, like from here to here, and then the bed is in the corner, then washing machine is in the corner here, then the toilet is over here.
$50,000 uncompleted.
Forget. Then, because the space is so small, when they come to Ghana, they want to build big houses with big rooms. And with the big house, you are going to need more money for tiles, more money for paint, more money for everything. You get me? We price by square meter. And so the larger the surface area, the more you are going to pay for everything. So people don't plan properly. They have wild, unrealistic expectations, litigation, poor financial planning. Those are some of the reasons why people start and never finish. And some people also start and they die, right? And so they can't finish.
That is. Let me ask one or two more questions, then we quickly sum up. I believe this has been a very interesting conversation today. If you were the government,
Yeah.
give me one law that you add to the Ghanaian constitution that will guide or guard building and all those things. And one law, if you had your way, you take out.
Interesting. Right. So the first one I would do is that Land Commission, I would give them a mandate to complete digitization of their records in 3 months. They should make sure that every land in Ghana is documented on online, and I can just go online or take my phone and put in the location, or I can even go and start the location and then pay maybe 10 cedis, 100 cedis, whatever. It will bring the government a lot of money. And then
May they bring my team the contract. We can do it for you.
they just stand at a location. You pay if you want to see who owns the property.
Land
right?
facts.
Yeah. And then it will give you the name. Pay 1,000 cedis. Immediately, it solves all the issues. And it stops all the litigation. You get me? That is something that we need like yesterday. Because a lot of the land issues, if you go to court, a huge percentage of our litigation or
I think
court
it's about
issues
60%.
are land-related issues. And it's just crazy. So that's what I would advocate that they do immediately. Yeah.
And one law that you feel like this is not necessary. You
One
just
law.
take out.
And it will be hard to think about it because all laws are good. Yeah, and all laws are here to help
purpose.
control people. Because if you leave people will behave like animals. And so laws are here to keep us in check.
Charlie, Mr. Frank,
Yes, sir.
final words.
Wow. I'm glad to have met somebody who watches my videos, and this time I am on the other side of the interview because usually I'm the one doing the interviews, and it's good getting the perspective, seeing how people are digesting the content that we give and the disagreements and the conversations that I don't see. So I'm really honored to you for having me on your podcast, and I really appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. Thank you so much, and I hope that somebody watching this has learned a thing or two. That for me is the reason why I do this.
Appreciate your comment.
Welcome, bro.
Like I said, there's no episode that you're going to watch and you're not going to get proper information out of until the next episode. Please, 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 I forgot to say it. Subscribe, like, and share. Subscribe, like, and share. Thank you very much. Enjoy your week.
Right. So the first